Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast have now begun to understand that players have desire and the ability to buy product. And to start a new relationship with all the players out there, Wizards of the Coast is going to have to meet certain demands. Time for players to start listing their demands. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. I hope you're having a wonderful day in the world of Magic. I think the first thing most players would like to see right now is an apology from Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, whoever, some mouthpiece to come down from the ivory tower and say sorry. Because the 30th anniversary does not feel like a celebration at all to the mass of the player base. It's a rejection of everything we hold dear in the community. We spoke with one wallet and we said no, we'd like the apology first. Now, going forward, I'm sure we can think of thousands of things we'd like on our demand list, but a lot of players would probably like to see improved card quality. If Hasbro can make a board game like Monopoly and not have any missing pieces, ink blots, or anything wrong with those boards, how hard is it to make cardboard that doesn't curl? Cardboard that isn't flawed or crimped or destroyed? Where are the spot checks on quality testing? This isn't Creed from The Office checking every 4 years. Or maybe they did hire him. Either way, that's something the players want to see improved, and they want to see it quickly. Most players would also like to see limited production lines. Don't just slap Jumpstart on things and tell us it's something good, because the Jumpstart product that just came out actually looks pretty good. A lot of players I know who are actually trying the product are saying it's a fun experience. They're enjoying it, and that's something to be proud of, but at the same time, you diluted your brand. When you start slapping Jumpstart on everything and calling it a new set, it's not even close. Just like the professor said in his video, not enough variation, not enough unique deck construction. It's not a product for anyone. Now, when we carry this through, I think also a lot of players would like to see not just the limit of production lines and cutting some things off to slow things down a bit. They'd also like to see the return of MSRP, the manufacturer's suggested retail price, just so we kind of know where things should stand. It's not so gray anymore. When you see that on there, you know generally what is the suggested price. We all think you guys should bring it back, regardless of where we are in the international markets of the world. Most stores and players liked having MSRP on there. Go ahead with the big brains in the ivory tower, figure it out, and put that back on. The next thing most players would like to see, of course, is no price increases in the near future. I know this sounds like a big ask, but we all know how much it costs you to make those cards. It's about as much as a deck of playing cards, which go for $1 at the dollar store. So just cut back on your profits for a bit. Yes, you'll take a hit on your shares at Hasbro, but at the same time, it solidifies that you're listening to us. By not giving us any price increases, we may actually start buying your product again and adding some revenue to the bottom line of Hasbro. So go ahead and do that for us. I think another thing that most players can agree with is more support for the stores, for your LGSs. And I don't just mean like throwing them a bone every once in a while. I mean incentives. Have more in-store play. Send proper prizes to those stores. It doesn't cost them that much to do it. And that way you're showing the support for the store. Build back up the player base that you've lost touch with by adding in-store play, proper prize pool, and maybe if a store hosts enough stuff, another incentive like reduced prices on certain products, some other incentive to make the store want to actually host your events. You want them to promote your product, don't you? You have to meet them in a two-way street and say, hey, let's compromise here. You're going to support us by having in-store play and using your play space, which means their hydro, their bathrooms. Guys, I think we all can agree that Hasbro's got to show a little more support to the LGSs out there. A simple way would be more incentives for those stores. It's not that hard. Now, how about when new product lines are being slated up, when you want to have a general query of if you think you should or shouldn't do something, how about some surveys? And not just ones that go to a distributor or to a store. How about somewhere on the Wizards of the Coast website where players who sign up can actually answer survey questions to give you input into what they think of the questions you ask them. Would you be okay with this? What do you think about this? Get some honest answers so you're not just hiding in the ivory tower saying, I think this is a good idea, Bob. Do you think this is a good idea, Bob? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And you pat yourselves on the back. Ask the players. You've lost touch with us. Reestablish that bond. Ask the questions directly to the people buying your products. Because if it's not good, chances are you're going to get wallet slapped and we're not going to buy it anymore. Look ahead and think smart. Okay, how about you support your tournaments? Regular tournaments, regular qualifiers, proper prize support. How about you pay your judges in actual cash? How about you give them something for their time and effort? How about if somebody wins a tournament, you pay for the hotel room they're staying at? Guys, it's not that hard. It doesn't cost them that much. More organized, regular tournaments that can be found in a calendar every year, just like a sporting event like football or baseball, soccer. When you know these events are coming up, we tend to watch them. Make it regular, don't interrupt the schedule, and stick to it. People are creatures of habit. Most players would like to see this happen. You can keep up with that. How about less reprints? I know this is hard for Wizards to do, but if you give us less reprints, the market recovers on the secondary market and those cards go up in value. And you can invest more money in your R&D to give us new products, new Magic cards that actually relate to the player base better, and give you more rotational options later on instead of rehashing the same ideas over and over and over. And if you need card concept ideas, why don't you ask the players like you used to? They used to have a mail-in thing where you could send ideas to Wizards of the Coast. How hard is that? Yes, I know you'll get some overpowered cards. You don't have to pick those ones. The biggest mistake that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast ever made was becoming so corporate that they lost touch with the player base that loves and enjoys the game so much. When they stepped away and just started patting themselves on the back by creating these products and not staying in touch with the player base around them, they became further removed from how players felt about the products, the prices, and the guidelines being set forth for gameplay. The more they did this, the worse it became until finally the bubbling cauldron resulted in the M30. If Wizards wants to find a new way back, they've got to get in touch with the players, get in touch with the stores and the distributors, meet somewhere as a compromise, and even take some of the ideas that players have put out there to make the game better as a whole. I understand all of these ideas are not always feasible, but doing them one at a time and slowly increasing your ability to keep in touch with your players will give you a better overall product design, better gameplay from the people who are actually invested in your game. It's not like it's Hasbro's Monopoly, Risk, Hungry Hippos. Those board games really don't change that much over the years. The concepts stay the same. But in a game like Magic that is ever evolving along with player tastes, you have to be able to stay in touch with that. You can't separate yourself from it and just say, this is what people want. Because it will be for a couple, but not for the majority. You've got to reach in there and find out what the majority want and try to satisfy those needs, because that's the only way Hasbro is going to get our money. They have to somehow meet the players in the middle. And years ago, you didn't have this many YouTube content creators who could criticize, chastise, and offer ideas and input and a meeting place for players. We didn't have these type of zones. Now we do. And it's very hard for Hasbro to shut us all up. They can't buy us all off. We're not supported by them. They don't really support anybody. They don't even pay their own judges. This is something that they now realize. They now understand, even if they hate to admit it, they know right now that they've got to do something. And hopefully any of these ideas that players have offered up, that you guys out there have talked about, somehow find their way to the steps of the ivory tower. Somebody walks them up as like a transcript, lays them down, and lets the company read them, look them over, and maybe make a few changes to make it better for everyone to enjoy this game going forward. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Let me know if I've missed any. Is there anything you'd like to add to the list? Put it down in the comments section. Let's get this party started on a Monday. Thanks a lot for being here, everyone. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for another video. And thanks to the amazing sponsors of this channel, which is each and every one of you, the patrons out there who support my channel. Without you guys, content like this just wouldn't be possible. So thanks again, everyone. I really appreciate it. Guys, welcome back. You're here at the end of the video. You're the special people who make it this far. You now get to see Moxman's list of incredibly hard to meet demands. These are the ones I want. Serialized boxes. I'm still a big believer in that. I want to know the production numbers. I want to know if there's a million boxes, that it's right there on the box so we know how many were produced. I would like to see 15 new reserve list cards added to the list every year. I want them to retroact it all the way to Marcadian Mask and start naming off cards that are never getting reprinted going forward. 15 for each year. It's still only a couple hundred cards, guys. It's not that big of a deal, but I'd like to see it. It allows collectability to me for future players. And then last, I would like one box set every year. One standard set to be entirely new, with no reprint cards at all. I want like a 300 card set, 280, 300 cards, no reprints. That will force them to create new cards, new ideas. And if it's only one set a year, those cards can be incorporated into other sets going forward. It's not that hard, Wizards. They can figure it out. That's what I'd like to see, guys. I can't wait to see what people put in the comments section to see if I missed any. I'm thinking about this stuff, all right? So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Thanks for being here. I look forward to reading the comments today. Have an awesome day.